Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Today is Friday, the 22nd, at 7 a.m. Good morning, Charlie. That's my dog. He might be running around. Hopefully, not too much, Charlie. Settle down. Good morning, everybody. I'm so glad to see you. If you are here, feel free to comment that you're here. I'm going to get started because this is a 45-minute class and I have things that I want to get done. So, this class I've created sort of a series of 4 classes. And I designed these classes sort of in a way, I was thinking about how you befriend somebody, how you make a friend. And I designed these 4 parts with that kind of approach. So the first part, and they happen to be matching with the acronym BODY, because I love acronyms. So the first letter B, befriend. That's what you would do when you first meet someone. O, in body, open up. You open up to someone when you start to befriend them. And D, dialogue. You start to talk open, honestly, and listen. And Y, yes, accepting and not judging. So those are the 4 parts of the class, the series that I've created. So why did I create a series on the body? Well, I'm not going to get too much into this, but we are in a pandemic. A lot of us are home, and we have some extra time to think about ourselves and what we're doing, and we have more time to reflect. So I thought, why not focus on the body? A lot of us take it for granted. And issues with the body are pretty common. I think I'm safe in saying that. Mine, well, I've had eating disorders. I've had bulimia for 4 years, back in 2000. So that was about 20 years ago. I had it for 4 years. And I have suffered from body dysmorphia, which is a very strange way of seeing your body, which is not actually the way your body is, but I've suffered with that for a long time, and constant negative self-talk. So I think you can relate to that. I don't think anyone's immune to that. You're not thin enough, you're not pretty enough, you are not white enough. I don't know if you know, I'm Asian, but I grew up in a largely white, Caucasian environment, and I suffered from not even being white enough. So I, try to change myself to look more Caucasian. So there's a lot of stuff going on, beyond just the physical. Now, I don't know what your issues are, but I welcome you here. Um, Maybe you're feeling a little numb to your body. Maybe you feel disconnected. Maybe you see your body as sort of more like a utility, something that just does its job, and that's really the extent of your relationship. Maybe you're riddled with negative self-talk like I am. Maybe you've suffered from some trauma and your body is holding on to that trauma because, our bodies has its own intelligence and has its own memory. But I just want to welcome you here, albeit virtually, um, I'm holding this space for you, for me, where we can come and be with our past experiences, be with our pain and suffering. And maybe that's not your thing. Maybe you just want to deepen your communication a little bit with your body, and that's great too. But I just want to say that this is a safe place, that I'm holding space for all of us to be together, and that we're not alone in our fears. So I want to talk about the 2 sides of this coin, this mind body. So the word yoga, good morning, Mike. This word yoga comes from an ancient Indian language called Sanskrit about 5,000 years ago. It's still used today in the Hindu tradition. The root of yoga, yuj, Y-U-J, yuj, it has a meaning of yoking together, like pulling together, bringing together, like yoking an animal back then for plowing the fields. So it has this kind of sense of bringing together. What are we bringing together? Well, that depends on who you ask. But generally, when you think of yoga, you think of bringing the mind and the body together, or the breath and the body together. For some people, it might be um, the lower egos with the higher self, or the human condition with divinity or God. Um, it is completely up to you how you define or want to see what you bring together. And that only comes with practice. So, um, but I just want to point out that there is an interesting paradox with this bringing together in yoga, because the true essence of yoga is actually bringing these two things together that were actually never really separate to begin with. So I invite you and welcome you to this first class called Befriend. So today we're just going to take it easy. It's just an introduction to this body class, okay? And as we get to the next class and the next class, we're going to dig a little deeper. But for today, we're going to just say hello to our bodies, reawaken parts of ourselves. So with that, I invite you to either lie down or sit down, Indian style, easy pose. Now, before you choose, think about how you're feeling mentally, physically. If you're kind of sleepy, I wouldn't suggest lying down because there's a very good chance you might fall asleep, because we'll be doing a body scan. If you feel like you can do it, fine, because it is more relaxing to just lie down, but just be aware not to just drift off. Or you can just sit down with me. So I invite you to do that. I'm going to be just sitting here, regardless of what you're doing, because you will have your eyes closed. So go ahead, either sit down or lie down on your yoga mat. We won't be needing any props today. Getting settled. Feeling your breath in your body. I invite you to close your eyes. Or if it's more comfortable, you can just have them slightly open. So you're lying down or sitting. And with a breath, inhale. And as you exhale, settle down and relax. Feeling the limbs of your body melt into the earth. I want you to notice what's going on with you right now. Just check in. What's the internal weather? Is it cloudy? Is it sunny? Is it partly cloudy? Is it raining? Now, as we do this body scan, I invite you to bring a sense of friendliness. We are befriending here. So friendliness would entail when you notice these body sensations or mental sensations happening separately or at the same time, I invite you to be friendly, noticing them, not judging them. Okay? Breathing once again. And on an exhale, just letting your body rest. in this potential for connection with your body. Apologize, my dog will find his spot soon. Okay. Now I want you to bring your attention to your right big toe. Your right big toe. Any sensations? Just bring your awareness. Think about your big red toe, big right toe. Now moving to the next toe on the right foot. And moving to your middle toe on your right foot. The next toe. See if you can feel it. See if you can sense it. Sometimes I can't really have a connection to it. It's interesting. Now your pinky. Moving your awareness up to the arch of your right foot and to the heel and the ball of your foot, your right foot. Noticing any tingling or any sensations you may feel without judgment, without any stories attached, just noticing the sensations. Bringing your awareness up to your ankle, your right ankle. Now to your shin, the bone of that calf, sensing the solidity of that bone. Now the muscle surrounding that bone, your calf muscle. Your right kneecap. Your thigh bone. See if you can sense your thigh bone. Now how about your hamstring? The muscle in the back of your right leg. Bringing your attention to the front side, your quadriceps. Bringing a friendly attention. And breathing just normally. Now going to your left big toe, bringing your awareness there. If you want, you can wiggle it a little, just to establish a connection. Now the next toe over. Your middle left toe. Your ring left toe. And now your pinky left toe. Seeing if you can feel any kind of buzzing or sensation. Maybe you don't feel anything. It's all okay. Bringing your attention to the front side of your left foot, as well as the arch of that left foot. Bringing your attention now to the ankle, the heel of your left foot. Just being with what you notice in a curious way. Going up to your calf bone, your tibia, and the muscle that surrounds it. Any sensations that arise. To your left calf, to your left knee. What comes up there? Now moving up to your thigh bone, the muscles around the thigh bone. Now see if you can bring your awareness to where your legs meet your torso. In the groin area. Bring your attention to any sensations in the groin area. Without judgment, without a story, just giving your body a chance to just be here. And moving up, actually feeling your pelvis, your hip bone. And sensing the connection between your hip bone and the base of your spine. The organs that are contained in your pelvis, moving up to your kidneys, to your stomach, your liver, your navel, see if you can sense your pancreas. Moving up to your ribs, your rib cage. Sensing the density of the bones in your rib cage. Now the contents between or inside your rib cage, your lungs, your diaphragm, your heart. Friendly and curious. This is how this body feels. Moving up to your clavicle bone, moving down your left shoulder, feeling your arms, your upper arm, your elbow, your left forearm, your wrist, the palm of your hand. Any sensations in the palm of your hand? What do you notice? Now go through each finger, starting with the thumb on your left side. At your own pace, I'll give you about 15 seconds. Getting close to the pinky. Okay. Now feeling the energy on the tips of your fingers on the left side. Moving over to your right shoulder, bringing awareness to your shoulder socket, down to your upper arm, elbow, your right forearm, and your right palm, going through each finger, starting with a thumb, noticing any sensations as you go closer to the pinky on your right hand, feeling the tips of your fingers on the right side. Hey Ann, hi Nick. Bringing your awareness now to your neck. For anyone who's joined just now, we're just doing a body scan. You'd be sitting or lying down. We're now on our neck. Just bringing your attention to the sensations in the back of your neck and the front of your neck. To your ears. To your jaw. To your sinus cavity. Bringing your awareness to the inside of your face. What sensations come up there? To your eye sockets. To your eyeballs. To your forehead. Your temples. To your scalp. What sensations are there for you on your scalp? Just being curious, friendly, just noticing, no judging, befriending. Your brain that is inside the skull. Coming back down to your tongue. Now take a deep breath in and breathe out through your mouth. See if you can bring into your awareness your entire body at the same time. Your whole body, alive, awake, being present with you as you're giving it your full attention. If you can you can bring a sense of gratitude for this time spent on your body. And when you're ready, you can flutter your eyes open. You can slowly start to sit up. If you're already sitting up, just sit here for just a second and notice any differences between when we first sat down and how you're feeling right now after that body scan. We're going to do a few poses, and I just invite you to be present with your body and keeping those sensations with you with kindness and curiosity. So come to your mat to devotional pose. Knees wide apart, hips sink down, hands reach forward, forehead resting on your mat. Bring your hands together in prayer and bring it over your head. Walk your elbows further up your mat to give yourself a nice side stretch in your rib cage, and lower your head. Rest your forehead. Your hands are just resting on the back of your head. Devoting this time to yourself unapologetically. You can lower your hands, then you can rise up and come down to your belly. You can place your hands to the side of your rib cage, rooting the front of your feet down and your pubic bone down to the ground. And on an inhale, we'll rise up to cobra. Inhale, shining your heart forward. Your neck is neutral. Breathing here for 2 breaths. You'll notice a swaying or swelling up and down as you breathe. Maybe think about pushing your belly into the ground. Pushing through your hands back to devotional pose. Knees wide, sinking down, forehead on the mat. And rising up to table. Your hands are underneath your shoulder sockets. Your knees are underneath your hip sockets. Dropping your belly to the earth. Dropping it. And we push down our palms into the earth, lifting our heart. Breathing in. And as we breathe out, we can round the backs. Our back, and drop our head, continuing to push our palms, leaning them into the earth. Just breathe generously here. Doing the reverse, dropping your belly, pushing your palms, lifting up your heart, breathing in, and rounding your back. Bringing your navel up to the ceiling, dropping your head. Coming back to neutral table. Now extend one leg out. And let's just give our calf a nice morning stretch. Now you stay where you are. I'm going to switch positions so you can see better. Now with that extended leg, swing it over to the other side and look at your toes. Giving yourself a side stretch here, breathing into the side of your body. Breathing in through your nose, breathing out through your nose. Now lifting that extended leg, taking it across your body, planting that sole of your foot down, dropping your belly, and lifting your heart up for another cat. Rounding your back. This is the cat, actually. Walking the tips of your fingers towards your body as you rise up. Inhale, lifting your arms up toward the sky. And as you exhale, lower your shoulders away from your ear and lowering that hand down to your extended leg. One more inhale, elongating your spine. And exhale, side stretch toward your extended leg. On your next inhale, gaze up toward the ceiling, opening your heart. Take another breath or two. Noticing any sensations here. With curiosity. On your next inhale, bringing that arm down and placing it on your mat. Lifting the other hand and making a diagonal with your body. Gazing up toward the ceiling. Taking 2 breaths here. Noticing how this feels. Any differences with the other pose. On your next inhale, gently coming up to center as we bring our hands together. Great. Come back to table. We'll do the other side, so extend the other leg, giving your calf a nice, delicious morning stretch. If you don't have an internal smile, maybe you want to think about giving yourself one. Now lifting that extended leg, sending it across your body, and taking a peek at your toes. If you want to deepen the stretch, you can bring your nose closer to your toes. Always being kind to your body. If anything doesn't feel right, don't do it. Find something else that feels good. Swinging your leg across, planting that foot down, dropping your belly down for your cow. And lifting your chest up in an inhale. Exhale, rounding your back into a cat. Walking your fingers toward your body as you rise up your torso, lifting your arms toward the sky. Inhale and exhale, lowering your shoulders away from your ear and lowering that arm down to the extended leg. One more inhale and exhale, side stretch toward the extended leg. And as you inhale, looking toward the ceiling, opening your heart, noticing what's here for you right now. Can you pick up on any subtle communication? Just noticing with curiosity. On your next inhale, bringing that arm down to your mat and lifting the other hand into a diagonal. Gazing toward the ceiling, take a couple breaths. How can you hold space for you today? On the next inhale, coming up to center, bringing your hands to center. And let's come back down to devotional pose. Legs wide, belly down, stretching ahead, just rest. Noticing anything that comes up for you, and just being with it with kindness and friendliness. Coming up to a table. Now I want you to plant your palms into the ground so much, push into them, and push your toes into the ground so much that your knee starts to hover. Hovering table. My knees are about 3-4 inches off the mat. I'm hugging my midline, the center of my body, for a couple of breaths here. Let me push back into downward facing dog. Your hands are firmly planted into the ground. The pits of your elbows are facing forward. You can have a slight bend in your knee. You can just walk your dog back and forth, just letting your head fall between your arms. Lifting one leg up, keeping your hips square to the mat. Feeling that stretch in that standing leg. Now opening up your hips, sending that leg back for a 3-legged dog. Your weight on your palms are even. Opening up your hips here, breathing. What's coming up for you now? Bringing your hips back, square to the mat, and lowering that extended leg. Bringing the other leg up, extended out. Hips are square. You're not opening your hips up yet. Staying here for just a breath or two, feeling that stretch. Now we can open up that hip. Equal hand weight into the mat. What are you curious about right now? Bringing your leg back. Okay, I hear my son. I invite you to just sit for a second and do a body scan. I shall be back. Yes, honey. Okay, many apologies. I will have to end this class right now because my son is awake and refuses to go back to sleep. But hey, now you know I'm a mom, and I'm just trying to find some time to give back. But I hope that you enjoyed what you did today in getting in touch with your body. And I hope that actually when I left that you were able to do a self-led body scan. And that's what I was going to say. Maybe during this week, I encourage you to maybe take a moment or two and just do a little body scan. Not the whole body unless you have time for it, maybe before bed. But maybe when you're washing the dishes, you can notice what it feels like in your torso, in your arms. Come here, honey. It's okay. And maybe if you're into journaling, which is very healing, maybe you can think about or write about what the potential for healing may look like for you when it comes to your body. Just chew on that for a sec. So thank you so much for joining me. This is Benjamin, and I hope to see you next Friday. Thank you. Namaste.